But can you tell us, Steve, a little bit about what you're doing in Reston?
Well, what we're doing in Reston is we've started an initiative called Reston for a Lifetime. And inspired by the village movement, which you're going to hear Barbara talking about in a bit, we came together as a community to try to figure out how can we remain in this community that we love for a lifetime. And as you know, Reston is a very unique but large community, over 17 square miles, 60,000 residents. One of the neatest things that we've got in Reston is our founder, Robert E. Simon, who Reston is named after, is still alive, 97 years old. And one of the founding principles that he founded this community on in the 60s was that a person can live in their community for a lifetime, that the community has a variety of options and different lifestyles. So it's an exciting movement. I think a lot of the folks feel like we're returning to the original roots of Reston, bringing community together, helping each other, and coming up with some unique and different solutions.
Right. But even though Reston is, one of the country's more famous planned communities, I think still the way you're going about it and doing surveys of the community, really listening, and as you were saying, trying to take a back seat to what the community wants, and that whole process, I think, is something really that any other community could look to as a guide.
Yeah, I mean, one of the trends that we see in our community and all across the country is that we've sort of shifted from we value independence so much. I've got to be in charge of my own castle, and we look at interdependence as sort of a weakness. If you can't do something or you don't want to do something, that's viewed as a weakness. And I think we need to I think that this movement, what we're all talking about here, is shifting it to say, let's help each other. We can have a better community, we can save money, we can be better connected and live in our communities for a lifetime if we do this.
Right. And I think we'll get a little bit later in the program to the economics of this, in the sense that it is so much more economical. And then also, Carol and I had talked earlier before the program on the value to companies with both older workers and companies as markets also for older retired people. So it's just such a much more dynamic feeling than, and you've talked before about not segregating older people, that this is really a community-based, and we're not talking necessarily about somebody staying in a home, but staying in a community and all the different ways you can connect.
It really is. The elders are really living history in our communities, and we can't hide them away. We've got to look at them as just a wonderful resource for our neighborhoods.
Right. And you were talking also earlier on the two paths, the idea of advocacy and then the actual idea of concrete action following up on the advocacy.
Well, one of the things that has developed in our Reston for a Lifetime planning is these two paths, and one is advocacy, and that's learning more about options that exist. It's advocating for things like affordable housing, better transportation, and then the other track is projects. And in fact, we're working with the Shepherd Center as one project to do medical transportation by volunteers. Another fun project that we're playing around with in Reston is an elder playground. This is a concept that they have been doing in Europe and Asia. And so it's exciting, and it'll be interesting to see where things are in the near future.
So you have to come back in another year, and we'll have another program, and we can find out how it's all working. Because I know you're going through different phases and trying things out in different neighborhoods to see how well they work.
Absolutely.
Now you've also published as I had mentioned earlier, the Guide to Retirement Living source book. Tell us a little bit about that before we go to the village moment.
Yeah, that's when I got out of college, my grandfather was in a nursing home, and I kind of stumbled into a career where I started a guide to list all the different options for senior for seniors and families. And here I am 21 years later, sort of a veteran in this industry. And it's been just a really great career, and we basically sort of have almost like a comprehensive listing of every single senior living option in the DC metro area, how much it costs, what's included in the cost, and where they're located.
And you're doing one in Philly
and the state of Maryland.
Okay, all right. Very cool. And I think the problem for so many people as they get older, they sort of feel like they're reinventing the wheel trying to find out information, which is what this program is about, of letting people know that there really are so many options other than what we have often thought of as the traditional resources of when you age, and that there's just such an exciting change and revolution going on. And also a revolution I think that the young people are involved in. They don't want to end up being older in the sort of traditional way that's been going for the last 20 years either. So everybody's invested in this. This isn't just an older age issue.